Section 5.1, designing samples. Section 5.1 has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 objectives as just for part 1. So again, each section I'm going to break down a little bit farther. So as I break 5.1 down farther, it's going to be into 3 total sections. The first section has these 8, or I should say 3 parts. And the first part has these 8 objectives. It's going to cover pages 326 to 334. And we're going to go through these more explicitly and in detail in class like we've done in the past. Now, this particular part has quite a bit of vocabulary words that we're going to be going through. For example, the first one, we have observational study and we have an experiment. These are 2 words that we discussed and mentioned briefly in the preliminary chapter as we were introducing the course as a whole. But as we look at the observational study, the key part is you observe. You don't do anything but observe what happens. You're not trying to influence anything. It's just what happens. With an experiment, you are trying to influence. They call that a treatment of some type. Think of your science classes, because it's the same thing. Same idea, same principles behind it. There's one other way to produce data that's not explicitly mentioned because it's relatively self-explanatory, and that's surveys, and that's just where you answer questions. Population and sample. The entire group of individuals that we want information about is called the population. A sample is part of the population that we actually examine in order to gather information. So here's an example. Let's say we want the population of all high school students. Well, we can't really look at all high school students, so the sample we're going to take would be just Forest Lake Senior High. When it comes to populations and samples, they can vary. So maybe we actually want the population of all Forest Lake Senior High School students. And the sample we're going to look at is, let's say, seniors. So in one case, the sample was Forest Lake Senior High, but in the other, Forest Lake Senior High is the population.